day. So once people get to a safe place, high ground, they will be evacuated by bus and to the nearest shelter. That evacuation is being coordinated by the Harris County Planning and Logistics arm. And that number, if you have a group of people that you need to be picked up and taken to a shelter, that number is 713-426-9404. 713-426-9404. If at all possible, we're not asking individuals to call that number. We're asking groups. If you've got a group of people that's come out of a neighborhood and you need them taken to a shelter, use that number. Those are the things that we have going on. In a minute, I will turn this over to Jeff Lindner from Harris County Flood Control to update everybody on the watersheds. Also Quincy Allen, the district engineer for the Texas Department of Transportation, to talk about road closures. There are two other announcements that I will make. The first one is county offices will be closed tomorrow. We'll talk about the rest of the week later on, but certainly tomorrow county offices are closed. We have also been notified that Bentob Hospital is being evacuated because of flooding problems in the basement that have disrupted the power source. Critical patients are being moved first, and those patients will be moved in a number of different locations throughout the community. So before I take questions at this time, I would like to start with Brian Murray to talk about the shelters that have been set up. It's a growing list, and he can go through that list and give any information that you might need. Brian?
Okay, so from the Harris County Sheriff's Office, Ed Gonzalez, he tweeted, "Continue calling 911. Some calls were missed earlier due to the volume. Operators are calling back numbers that didn't get answered." Now, we want to go to Carl Parker because, Carl, flooding is not the only issue that people might be calling 911 for.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, as we always see with tropical systems. So there's a new tornado warning to tell you about. As you mentioned earlier, 100 tornado warnings have been issued already in this event. So this is now along the Gulf Freeway, and that is south of Houston and into Galveston County here. We're looking at a tornado warning going until 12:30. You know, a lot of times these things are ephemeral. They tend not to last very long at all. They're just quick little spin-ups, and I think that's what we've got in this case. We'll go back couple of scans here. We'll take you back to 12 o'clock, and there you can see a little pinpoint right in there. So that's indication of a rotation showing up there. We see in successive scans that it's not as well defined. Nonetheless, there may in fact still be a circulation there. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more, see if we can get a better look at that. Right in there near Santa Fe, some potential for a tornado as that's getting towards the radar. So let's take that forward and see where that's going to be headed in the next few minutes. It's moving off towards the northwest here, west of the Gulf Freeway. I'm going to back out just a little bit and we'll get a better sense of where that is. Excuse me, coming up through Galveston County, the west side of Galveston County. So just to the west of League City, maybe coming towards Friendswood ultimately, as well as the Country Meadows Montessori School. And what's happening more broadly right now is that we've got this low-level wind shear. You've got winds that are coming out of the southeast and east at the surface, and then winds coming across that at about a mile up, and that's why you've got this tornado threat that continues for a lot of the Gulf Coast and southwestern Louisiana. Steph, let's get back out to you.
Okay, so we want to talk about, you mentioned Louisiana. The wind shield, or I should say the cloud shield of Harvey, stretches 700 miles. So this is not just a Houston thing. This is not just a suburb of Houston thing. This is a wide-reaching, listen, 8.7 million are under flash flood warnings in Texas. 12.2 million are under flash flood watch. What's the difference? A warning means it's imminent or it's occurring. Watch means conditions are favorable for flash flooding. There's 6 million under a tornado watch. Again, a watch means conditions are favorable for that to occur. If you're under a tornado warning, it's imminent or it's occurring here. Unfortunately, 3 people have already died from Harvey. The Houston mayor said there's been more than 2,000 rescues. So let's go to one of those areas that's a little bit removed from Houston, Smithville, Texas. It's about 50 miles east of Austin, Texas. That's where we find Chris Bruin. And Chris, what have you seen in your travels? I know you started, I believe, in San Antonio, now making your way to Smithville. What's it been like for you?
Hey, Stephanie, the flooding here has been really one that town hasn't seen very often. In fact, some parts of the city have never seen water. This area where we're at has flooded a few times in the past, but they've never seen it this high, and a lot of residents are really coming together. The big thing was all this rain really fell overnight, and it really came up to people's homes, and people had to get out. In fact, I talked to one of the residents here in Smithville who lives just down the street here in one of these houses, and she said it was about 2-3 o'clock in the morning and the water just came up. Of course, Smithville picking up about 16 inches in the past 24 hours. And what happened was the water came up and she was trying to grab all her belongings. She just couldn't keep up with it. So get this, the town of about 3,800 people came together, and the mayor and his wife came over to help and get her to safer ground, get all her animals collected and back up to higher ground. And her neighbor is letting her stay with her where his house is not flooded. But she said water was coming in the house. And again, that's not the only story here. There are several homes throughout town, especially on this street, but also north of the city, that have been flooded as well. And again, we're on the banks of the Colorado River, not the same Colorado River that's back out west, but it goes through Texas, and it goes through downtown Austin and here about 50 miles east where we are in Smithville. Now, I checked the latest reports, and currently it's at about 25 feet, which is in moderate flood stage, but it's expected to crest at 32 feet, which is major flood stage, and that begins at 28 feet. So the Colorado River is about a mile or so up to our north. And again, we're keeping a close eye on that as it's expected to be major flood stage. Now, one good news, the city has come out and is pumping the water. Of course, earlier, this whole street was covered with water. But if we come over here, you can see this pump. It's starting to help bring the water down just a little bit. So hopefully, we'll be able to continue to get all the water on this side of the street and get it out of people's homes. But again, the rain keeps coming down, and will it ever stop? Again, we really don't know. As far as the rain here in Smithville goes, it really is a tragic story. It's really what we've been fearing, and again, it's still playing out before our eyes. 16 inches and counting here in Smithville, and we'll have much more from here when we return. But we're going to send things back over to Steph.
Okay, Chris, we appreciate that, and I have something that I need to get out. It's very urgent from officials in Houston. They are asking if you have a high water vehicle or a boat and helping rescue in your community, call us to coordinate. And the number, I put it on my Twitter, but here it is, 713-881-3100. Ask for the fire marshal. Again, if you have a high water vehicle or a boat, they want you to help coordinate with them. 713-881-3100. Ask for the fire marshal. Excuse me. Behind me, the Buffalo Bayou. It's continuing to rise. There were signs out there that we saw earlier that you cannot see any longer. It's 53 miles long. It was formed 1,800 years ago. It dumps into Galveston Bay in the Gulf of Mexico. The watershed approximately 500 square miles. So all along this bayou, you're going to hear about different records already. We've had 9 records set on different bayous here in the Houston area. Let's go to another area. Ron Blum has been following the story as well. Ron, exactly where you are and how has the day progressed? Because for us, right where I'm standing, about an hour and 5 minutes ago, it was dry, and now it is up to almost the middle of my path.
Steph, we have seen it come up and down today. Overnight, it was just pounding this west side, southwest side of Houston. In fact, at this convenience store, they said the water was close to 10, 12 inches deep inside. Right now, it's maybe 3 inches deep. When we got here 2 hours ago, there was no water inside, so it's fluctuated. We had those very heavy bands moving through here around 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock local time. For the last hour, it has pretty much let up, which has been a relief because we saw the rise of water ease up. That's Bayou behind me. just down from here, downstream, is Clear Creek. It is flooding. The water is backing up into there. There's a lot of apartment complexes in this part of Houston, in the Bel Air area. One family that just walked through, they were trying to find some food for the young children at home, and the woman told me that the water was getting into the ground level apartments, and that hundreds of people were going to be inundated just along Clear Creek. That is just to the south here of Beechnut.